Hey traders, sorry, this is Blake Morrow. I'm back here, and I want to welcome you guys to the Morning Edge. Sorry, I was running a bit late. I was actually just in the chat room, updating people on the SLR, and then my dog started, getting crazy. So I apologize for the wait here. I was actually looking at some of these, the dollar Mexican peso, the U.S. dollar rand, and I was thinking, man, if stocks actually come under a little bit of pressure going into the end of the day, we're going to have to watch these emerging market currencies might actually come under pressure here. The dollar Mexican peso is at support. I want to, and matter of fact, since I'm here, let's go ahead and write that down. Key support here is going to be. The thing I'm a little worried about it is it's not rallying, but this is support here, right? 226. I'm sorry. Let me rewrite that. 226. Resistance is at 2060, and we're range bound right now. But if we can get above 2060 right here, that should allow for a squeeze higher. I'm thinking I was thinking this earlier, and it obviously hasn't happened. I was thinking earlier, I'm like, man, why aren't we lifting off of here? Maybe there's some end of week flows that are passing through the peso. Some peso demand at the moment. I mean, that's my only explanation at this point. I can't see the reason why the dollar Mexican peso is as strong as it is, but it's the same for like the rand. I was looking at the rand as well. And, I think a move above 1480 here would be bullish if we can get above that. And maybe they just need to move in tandem. Like I said, I'm a little surprised that this, dollar Mexican peso is a little bit heavier today. So Dimitri said, hey, Blake, interesting divergence, Norway versus peso. Yeah, it is. I think they're two different animals right now, and obviously the U.S. dollar, Norwegian krona, I'm long, and I'm happy that it's moving higher. But that doesn't surprise me because crude's so weak. Same with the dollar Canadian. The dollar Canadian, is firming up. We're coming out of this bull flag pattern. I think the dollar Canadian looks really bullish above these highs right here. And guys, excuse me for my allergies. If you missed it earlier, I was outside yesterday playing, pickleball, and things are blooming here. And ever since I got home last night, it's like my nose has been, like kind of nonstop. So bear with me. It's going to be this way for like a good 2 months, I would say. So you guys are going to have to hear this, for like the next 2 months. I'm sorry. I can't control it. And, it doesn't matter how much Claritin I buy. It just doesn't matter. Anyway, but going back to what I was saying, I think it's the emerging market complex in general. You look at like the peso, the rand, the ruble, the lira. I mean, we got probably look down at some of these other ones too. Yeah, like look at the Colombian peso. Argentina, you never really pay attention to. The real is stronger. So, some of these emerging market currencies, they are much stronger than you'd expect in this environment right now. Jack said might be interest rates, but yes, EM currency is crazy strong. Bargain at these levels, in my opinion. Cautiously though, what he's saying is he's thinking that sell some of them at these levels, but we'll see. Amir, this is what Amir is saying to me right now. This is Amir. I'm telling you, buddy. No, Amir, it's not that. It's not that. I swear to God, it's not that. It's something else. I mean, it's just my allergies are acting up. And it's craziest thing. It's like I just keep like I go outside and then. All right, let's get started. Because I want to take a look at some of these markets before the equity markets open here. So the euro, the euro's got a bear flag or bearish pennant. And by the way, I did sell some Kiwi this morning just a little while ago. And if you don't know the reason why, this would be the reason why. We got a bear flag pattern, right? So you can see it right here, and I believe that that is going to show us that the bear flag pattern is going to play through this support. I don't want to be super aggressive yet. God, cable is so weak right now. My goodness. But and you guys know, if we break through 71 cents, it's going to be gnarly. So I wanted to start a position, and I definitely want to add to it, but I wanted to get it going, to keep kind of a tracking the pair, if you will. All right, so let's start with the euro. So the euro's got this bearish pennant, and I'm going to say today, because I don't think we're going to reach for 120 today, but we could obviously reach for this resistance here. It's going to be 1935. Support. So I was just drinking some of my coffee. 1885 and then 1835. So I'm going to write down both of those. 1835, 1880 will be fine. Bearish. Okay. Remember, we've had we've had to mark up the euro as bearish because, while we're below 120, we just have to. Now the cable's trading kind of heavy this morning. I was like, okay, we had this inverted head and shoulder pattern, but now that we're trading so heavy, this is very similar to, the euro, and we can look at it like a wedge or a triangle or something, because it's not a flag anymore. But I would be a little concerned if we break through this 138.25. So, and then I'm going to write down two things. 137.50, which is key. You guys know that, right? 138.25. It's not bearish. It sure is acting like crap today, but it's not bearish. And so I'm going to write down resistance. Obviously, it's a 140.15, but I mean, if we got back to 139.60, I think people that, are long are probably going to go, wow, I really would like to get out of that. So 139.60 is resistance now. Dollar Canadian's on its highs, cable on lows, Aussie's near its lows of the session. Stocks look a little weaker. Okay. Ingmar says, we traders have enough adrenaline. Is laughing at my Coke impersonation. Aussie dollar. Okay, so Aussie, it's really starting to develop this this head and shoulder pattern. I know I was drawing it during the face webinar, not even saying anything, and I was just kind of talking and drawing. We were talking about something else, but I want people to be able to see it, and I don't have to say it, but they can see it. This is a longer term head and shoulder pattern, and and I want to let me stop here really quick and just say one thing about this. I am really, really excited for this to happen. I'm really excited for this to happen, because I really think that the Aussie, if it gets down here, I want to be long, like aggressively, like not, like counter trend. It's like, okay, I'm shorting a little bit and blah, 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 blah. But no, I really, really would love to be like very long down here somewhere, once we complete this pattern. That's what I'm more, excited about. Yeah, we got a little head and shoulder pattern here, but anyway, support today, 77 cents. Resistance, I mean, I'm just going to write down 78.50, but we have to keep it in range. Now the Kiwi, on the other hand, it's about ready to flip to bearish, but this is support. Okay. This is obviously critical support. If we close below 71.50 today, I will flip this to bearish. But for right now, it's on range. And I know I put in a pattern in play. I'm a little early, but I think we're going to see some profit taking into this week. And, it's kind of a key reversal week for a lot of things. You guys, you know that, right? Resistance 72.70, 72.80 is the 50%, but we'll write 72.70 now. All right. Oh, oops, I didn't want to do that. Sorry, I got to turn that off. Okay. Where am I at? Oh, dollar Canadian. Okay. So dollar Canadian, bull flag pattern. We are at the highs of the, wow, look at that go. Wow. We're at the highs of the session right now. A break above 125.25 should put, and by the way, this puts the bull flag here, puts the wedge resistance back into play. So just so you guys know, 125.25, then 125.73, 75. So I'll say 125.25, 125.75. I'm taking it off bearish, and I'm gonna put it in a range. And the reason why I'm doing that, guys, is because of the false breakdown. And now that we closed, oh wow, dollar is just ripping right now. Okay. While we're when we got that false breakdown now, it's looking decent. Okay. So now support is at 124.60. The close back above the 124.60 yesterday is what really took me off bearish. Swissy's bullish here, guys. Support is at 92.50. Resistance. Remember, yesterday we wrote resistance here at 93.25, and then 93.75. So same. That's key. And this is bullish. Dollar yen. Let's think about this one for a second. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. Norway. Okay. 865. Let's actually write down not 865. Let's write down these highs here, which is roughly 868. That's key, right? 868. Support now should be dips down to 847. I told everybody in the chat room last night, if you guys weren't in the chat room, I'm buying more US dollar Norwegian krona at 847. Guess what? My order did not get filled. It's such horse crap that I did not get filled. I'm so irritated. Actually, let me look at my orders. Yep, didn't get filled. I had an order at 847 847. We went as low as 847.50. It's such horse crap. You guys know I have better words for all that, but anyway, I need to cancel that thing. Maybe some of you guys that were in the chat room, maybe you were able to get some last night. That sucks. So any dip back down here now, let's call it 850. Is going to be pretty well supported. I don't want to put it in bullish yet because it's not. But you guys know why I am bullish is because we're building this huge base. But it's still got a lot of work to do here. Lots of work. Not lots of work. I mean, it could theoretically start breaking out today, but dollar Mexican peso, we already got that. Dollar yen. See, I'm just not super excited about the dollar yen yet, because what if yields start to actually, come down? So I'm just going to write down same thing, 109, 109.30, 108.30, and let's just leave it at that. Okay. And I'd rather see a dip, to 108.30, maybe to like 108, to be long, because it is bullish. I mean, yields may pull back today, but overall, it's still pretty darn bullish, right? Even if we pull back in yields. Dollar index. Oh boy. Look at the dollar here. Dow's getting crushed. S&P is heading lower too. NASDAQ is, it's still rotation, guys. NASDAQ's holding up. So 92 was resistance. We broke it. So next resistance is 92.50. And this is, we break through 92.50. That turns the whole dollar index bullish. Just so you know, guys. I mean, it's a bull flag pattern already, but 91.80 should be supported now. Okay. S&P. Uh-oh. 3,900. And then after that is going to be, let's figure that out actually. Let's not just guess here. Because what I was going to do is I was just going to start using some support and resistance off to the side here, horizontal, but I don't want to do that. 38% retracement, 50% retracement. Okay. So this 38% retracement in this blue line right here, I don't find that super important. This is more important, not 50% retracement, this spike low here. The reason I say that is because when you're looking at lows off to the right of the price action off to the right, this is probably going to be support, because this doesn't even coincide with any other fib levels over here on the 38% retracement. So I'm going to be more concerned with this 38.50. Let's call it 38.60 on the way down. So 3,900, 38.60, 38.60. Okay. I have to flip us into range. False breakout this week. And you can see these. I would just say this is a bear flag pattern. To be honest, this is just that's all this is. I know we spiked below there, but that should take us to that 50% retracement, or near it. Okay. So I'm just going to write that. You know, actually, we could probably do it like this. And that would take us all the way down to the 50% retracement we were just talking about, right? So that means that this is really key now. 39.36. I'll just write 39.35. Tony asked, did you get your Looney purchase in the sub 124.80s like you wanted last night? I did. Thanks, Tony, for asking. I did. I actually got filled, double filled, because I don't want to say double filled. I bought in Asian trade before I went to go play pickleball. I bought some at 124. I want to say it was like 91. And then I got filled on the dip down towards 70. And so I added actually, quite a bit more. So not quite doubled my position, but I added enough, which is cool. I'll spin out of some, if we can break these highs, I'll spin out of some as we get back towards 125, 60, 70, somewhere up here, all this previous support, as we wrote down resistance, the 75 level, I'll spin out of some here just in case that wedge holds again. When working a core position, I gotta take a little bit off as we make our move around. Let's talk about gold and silver. Same crap in silver. I don't even know why. There's no reason to be trading this right now. And same numbers as yesterday, 24.80, 26.80, right? 26.80, 24.80. Yep. Gold, bear flag, still. That means this is pretty important. 1720 and then 1760. Okay, so 1720, 1760. While we're below 1760, we remain bearish. I know you guys hear me say this all the time, but every day. But that's good, right? It's like you. Euro's getting smashed here. 1720. And then obviously below that, just in case we break, is 16.8. Wow, Dow's getting hit. Wow. So Euro, Kiwi, breaking 71.50. Dow trying to break down. So, we really, in the Dow, we really got to get back below like 32,000, but you can see, we're starting to see some sellers step in. I'm got to be careful with risk here, especially we saw a reversal post FOMC. That's not good. Okay, here's Bitcoin. Still head and shoulder pattern. Same crap. Although the 60,000 I think is going to hold here. So 60K, make a lower high. Now the trend line is at roughly 54,000. So let's just 54K, 60K. It's bullish while we're above 52.5. So I'm going to write that down, 52.5. Okay. But just know that if we break through 52.5, it's going right to what to bearish. Okay. All right, guys. Your bias chart is finished. So there you go. And Steve, Stelios, how's it going, guys?
Hello, I'm just taking a screenshot and posting it.
Good, yeah,
mate.
what do you think about this SLR? I mean, okay, just so you guys know, this is the capital requirements on that Fed actually suspended for the financial crisis, and now that they've basically it is the exemptions, right? And people were thinking that the Fed might extend those extend the extension that was due at the end of this month. And you notice how during the Fed meeting, the Fed Powell was like, yeah, I'll make an announcement on that in a couple days. So he was basically pumping and dumping the market. He knew what he was doing.
Of course he did.
Yeah, because he knew that they were going to end this, and the stock market, it would have overshadowed what he said, his dovish message.
Exactly. He didn't want to pass it at the same time because the focus would go there.
Right. So, now
and get the other message less, well received or less paid attention to.
Right. It would totally overshadowed his dovish message. So anyway, now that it's out, we are seeing some, selling in equities. And I think that, it's kind of like for those of you that listen to me for a long time, I used to always say it's kind of like a cliff diver. It's like, oh, I want to get higher to jump because it's more fun jumping from a higher spot. I don't want to just jump from this low cliff. I want to go to a higher cliff. And that's kind of like, Powell's like, look, we're going to be jumping. I got to get a little higher first before we take the plunge, So anyway, Steve, I'm going to let you take over. I gotta run to the restroom, but I want to say thanks everybody for listening in this week. I hope you guys have all had a great week of trading. At least we're seeing some volatility. And thanks, Steve and Stelios. It's all yours.
Thank you, mate.
All right, guys.
Thank you, man. So yeah, we had the news of this SLR. Basically, they didn't extend it. And remember, this was put in place during the early days of COVID. And it kind of helped treasury markets, etc. So now it's interesting to see what the effect's going to be with yields rising over the past couple of weeks, and this now happening today. So at the moment, okay, we're seeing a little bit of risk off, but nothing to. We're only going back to what last week's levels.
So, oh my God! Yeah. It's a disaster.
That's what we have to keep in mind. Even if the S&P drops 15% or something like that, 20%, where are we going to? We're going back to, what is it, 10, 20, 30? We're going back to November. So it's not going to be the disaster that everybody might think. But
I have faith in them. They will never let that happen.
They'll bring Bullard out if we go like 5-10% lower. But it's like
the big gun is Neil Kashkari.
Kashkari, yeah, he wants big negative rates forever.
I can just say that I believe unintentionally his parents, didn't know that their son would have the perfect last name for the job he would be doing in the future.
Kashkari,
yeah.
Anyway, we've always said, look, a correction, even 20-30% from here, it should be a healthy thing to have. It's not a problem to have a correction in stocks, but clearly there's many people who think it is, and they want to eradicate the downtrends. But other than that, it's been a quiet day, and I don't. Well, we're selling off in equities a little bit, but really we've seen this so many times. Any bets as to if we end up the day green? I don't know.
This is what I was telling before to Grega, that I thought when Grega was talking, I told him, I think that at least in the short term there is more downside here, because I was looking at this 4-hour candlesticks, and this looked very, very much like a bear flag, right? And we've now broken through this bear flag, and I think this opens the door for the next downside area of support, which is roughly at 38.70. So That's why I was telling him that, even if this is a corrective move lower, which most likely it is, I don't want to get misunderstood that I'm predicting like a trend reversal or whatever. I thought that there was more to it. And I think we're seeing this now. In my opinion, it looked more clear and prominent in the S&P, and it seems to be playing out more here. Now, I don't know why the S&P so far seems to be having like double the downside than the Nasdaq so far, but this seems to be the case. That is also what has gotten now the DXY breaking out of this triangle, which was clearly corrective. I mean, the more price action was unfolding, the more it was looking like it was corrective, which means that we're going back to my main case scenario as it was some time ago, that this is part of a correction, but it has more to go. Where is it? On the daily DXY. Yeah, that's what we had drawn there. Yeah, so there seems to be more upside here if we confirm by the end of the day, which is also going to be the end of the week, right? So we close the day and the week above this triangle, and I think we open up more upside for the dollar as part of a more complex correction. As I said before, and as I've said multiple times, I have no reason to believe this is anything else but a corrective move. But in any case, a correction can take some time to unfold, especially when it follows a prolonged move to, in the direction of the trend, as this has been in the case of the dollar, right? So keep that in mind. Now, within that context, the vast majority of the dollar pairs are clearly under pressure. Having said that, we haven't really seen any real breakdowns or break higher, depends on what kind of dollar pair we're talking about. So here's the euro, for example. It's pushing lower, not yet at the lows that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Keep in mind that this 118.40 is like key support area, but as you see, definitely not a breakdown. Here's the cable, right? Probably this was a triangle. I would not now assume this one. I'm assuming this is, so I would expect this move to have at least one more leg lower, right? Something like this. So watch out for this confluence of supports where we are at the moment, almost like 138, let's say. I think below 138, we open 137, and below 137, we open the door for a rather much bigger corrective move to the downside. Here is the Aussie. If we had to look at a few of the commodity currencies as well, somebody can say that it's building like some kind of a head and shoulder stop, etc. I think it's too early to call this something like that. Here's the Kiwi, key support at 71 cents, as you see, right? Having to do with dollar CAD and dollar NOK. As I was saying the other day, nice rebound from the USD CAD, but it hasn't yet broken out from this channel. So for me, it doesn't matter that much, right? And here is USD NOK, which is currently testing this trend line resistance. But even more important than that is like 860, what is it, like 868? Because above that, we're going to have a higher high. And then, we open the door for finally a like bigger corrective move higher. Above that, I'm going to close half of my position, take profits finally, and let the other half and look. I'm going to be looking for areas to reestablish the other half back, because as I said since the very beginning, this is a core position for me, and I don't want to be out of it, because I think that eventually the USD NOK is going much, much, much lower. But there is a good likelihood that that's not happening from here, right? Not if we cross through 865. Here's also USD-MXN. You can see clearly some divergence here, right? I mean, it's really weird, because the USD-MXN from the dollar pairs is the first one that actually started rebounding before anything else even started rebounding. And it's now the one that, instead of reacting more strongly to this move, since it was looking forward to it, at least that's how it was looking like, it's not yet responding to this dollar strength. So it's a little bit weird, because it led the move higher, but doesn't want to follow higher now. So quite a peculiar kind of thing here. Now, having to do with crude oil, this is the channel I was referring to, because we were looking at Gregor's chart, and he didn't have this channel, but this was the channel I was referring to. Those of you that are daily with us, you've seen this channel multiple times before. So I think yesterday's impulsive move lower, and the fact that we closed below the channel, and the fact that we, on the highs of the day today, we retested this channel and failed, I think these are, important technical developments, right? So the next area of support is the one you see here, like 57.60, 57.70. Why? That's the confluence of this horizontal support area, but it's also the 200 daily moving, sorry, the 50 daily moving average. So I think we crossed through that, and we opened the door for the next downside objective, which, as I said when we were exchanging opinions with Gregor, I think it's at 54, and I think 54 looks attractive. I mean, I think it might act as a magnet. So, especially if we confirm by closing the day and the week, since it's a Friday, below this channel, so we confirm by the end of the day, I think it's extremely likely that we're headed towards 54. And, as this move lower unfolds, we're going to get more technical information to start planning, start deciphering what kind of a structure this move is going to have, because, as I've said multiple times, corrections are very, very hard to predict. Sometimes they start unfolding looking like X type of move, and then it starts looking like another type of move, and that's like larger. So initially it might look like a channel, but then it might start developing more like a bigger triangle. It's not easy to predict. It's easy to say that the corrective move is over only, it is very easy to say that the corrective move is over only once the trend has reestablished itself and you start getting an impulsive move higher, in this case that the trend is higher, right? Or an impulsive move lower in case of a downtrend. And then you can say, oh, it seems that that point was the end of the correction, because now we seem to be moving in the direction of the previous trend in an impulsive manner. In any case, I do think that the trend is going to remain higher for crude. I'm just not sure yet. It's too early of where this move lower is going to bottom out. Don't forget, this has been an uptrend that is almost 1 year long, right? And during this uptrend, the only worth mentioning correction that we had is this one, which, as you see, is more a correction in time than in price, right? So perhaps now we have the opposite. Sometimes, you get exchange, the type of corrective moves you have don't replicate themselves. So initially in this move, you end up having more a horizontal correction. Then the next correction is a little bit more likely to be correction in price, might be sharper, right? And retrace, significantly more than this one did, but might last less. This one lasted long, but didn't retrace much. This one might last less, but retrace more of that move. So I think there is even a possibility that we retrace further than 54. 50, even 46, why not? But I do think that no matter what happens here, I think this move is going to prove to be corrective. Now, natural gas is still drifting lower, but still finding support here in the 50% fib. There is a little possibility that this has started looking like quite a lot like a descending wedge, right? So keep that in mind. Let me delete all this. So I still think that the path of least resistance in the medium to long term is higher. So pay attention to this, because this has started looking like a descending wedge. What else? Gold and silver, I don't have much to add. I'm looking at this trend line resistance that somebody in the webinar noticed. It's also, 1750 is also a confluence of resistances. In any case, as we talked about with Grega, there is a possibility of even a lower low from here. So be careful. I mean, we've found resistance here. Here is silver as well, quite a more complex correction, but definitely this rebound higher doesn't look impulsive. So we might end up seeing like a, we might end up seeing a move lower from there. Platinum that wasn't really responded yesterday to weakness is doing so today. So, pay attention to this. Keep in mind, as I've said many times about corrections, perhaps the corrective move was not that, but the corrective move might end up being, like something like this or whatever, right? So, it's not written in stone that we can't go lower, but I do think that this move, no matter how it unfolds, right, it's going to be corrective and we're eventually headed higher. Now, oppositely from that, I think that palladium has probably broken out. So today it's posting like an inside day, but that move higher seems impulsive to me. And as long as we remain above, what is it, like 2,500, I think the path of least resistance is clearly higher. Same case here with copper, although exactly as we saw with platinum, don't rule out the possibility that the corrective move in copper might not have been this, but might be something a little bit more complex, right? So something like this. So, I mean, I do think that this move is corrective in copper, but there is a chance that it's more complex and it's going to unfold, looking something like this. So keep that in mind. Nickel, still consolidating its recent losses, but in all honesty, I mean, this pattern looks very, very bearish. I mean, nickel looks very, very heavy. I think it's a matter of time, most probably, for the floor to drop off. We have this horizontal area like at 1145 that's keeping it from starting another leg lower. But the way it looks to me like now, I think it's most probably a matter of time before this floor just collapses and we make another move to the downside. So I would still be very, very careful being long nickel from here, not unless we see at least one more leg lower. Okay, DAX sinking like lead. Yeah, something, it was about time, because don't forget that DAX was actually overperforming, right? By the way, look at where DAX found a high both yesterday and today so far, right? Exactly at the target we had pinpointed at the 161.8% extension of this corrective move lower. So that was at 14,788. And actually that's more or less where we found resistance. And if today ends up being a bad day in the market, these three candlesticks there, that's a big if, of course, right? If today ends up being like a rather negative day for the market, these three candlesticks will form an evening star formation exactly after hitting the target we were looking for, right, as an upside target. So pay attention to that. Today's daily and weekly close is going to be rather important for what happens next. I mean, a bad daily close today is probably going to point finally to a deeper correction here because the DAX was really not turning lower no matter what. German reopening revoked today. Yep. I think Stelios mentioned it before. Okay. I think more or less we covered that. Yeah, I think more or less we covered everything that was asked and more. So, okay, I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. And,
Same
we'll
to
see
you,
you
mate.
back on Monday. Bye-bye, Stelio. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye, everybody.
everyone.